We told y'all the West Coast wasn't going to let this sleeping dog lie, especially with the way Joey Badass called them all out in his latest track. With the way things are shaping up, this could be the beginning of a year filled with intense competition in hip-hop, exactly how we like it. You don't come for Kendrick's spot as the top dog in the culture without expecting some serious heat in return. What's even more intriguing is that K-Dot, the main target of Joey's shot, hasn't said a word yet. But his silence is already speaking volumes, prompting other voices from the West Coast rap scene to step up. If anything, it's a testament to just how much power and influence Kendrick holds in the game right now. It's looking like Joey already lost this first round, and Kendrick hasn't even lifted a finger or uttered a word. And why would he? Kendrick is in a completely different lane right now. Those bars from The Ruler's Back were never going to be enough to shake him or trigger a response. After the transformative year he just had, K-Dot's focus is on bigger moments, like his upcoming Super Bowl halftime show and putting the finishing touches on his highly anticipated follow-up album to GNX. Instead of jumping into another competitive showdown himself, Kendrick and his TDE crew decided to take a different approach this time. They weren't about to let Joey Badass walk all over them with that track, but they also felt that responding directly with heavyweights like Schoolboy Q, J-Rock, or Ab-Soul would be giving Joey too much credit. Simply put, they don't think he's earned that level of attention just yet. So they sent in Vaughn, a rising star from the West Coast, to challenge Joey's claims and remind him that even the young guns out west are locked, loaded, and ready to fire. With Kendrick and TDE's blessing, Vaughn just dropped a sizzling hot diss track titled Crash Out Heritage, directly answering Joey Badass and the shots he fired on The Ruler's Back. For anyone doubting K-Dot's involvement or approval of this move, y'all should know that this track was shared across all TDE social media platforms, and the beat Ray used, it's unmistakably a Kendrick beat. Any doubts about Vaughn's talent vanished as soon as the first verse of this new song hit. His clapbacks at Joey were sharp, his delivery was on point, and his message to anyone disrespecting Kendrick on the West Coast was loud and clear. This is their territory. The move to let a new artist like Vaughn respond to Joey's self-proclaimed King of the East Coast moment is both hilarious and savage. It's Kendrick's way of saying Joey's shots weren't even worth his time. Instead, he let a young MC turn this into a learning experience while still dismantling Joey in the process. The fact that Joey couldn't even get a reply from the likes of Q or Ab-Soul is a clear sign that his attempt to spark a rivalry is losing steam fast. If he's not being invited to sit at the table with top-tier artists, his mission to drag the West Coast into a competitive lyrical battle might be dead in the water before it even begins. Right now, it's either he creates a seat for himself, or he displaces someone from theirs using his biggest weapon, rap. What's even more telling about how battle-ready the West Coast is right now is that Vaughn wasn't the first one to respond to Joey Badass. Other West Coast MCs like Daylight and Jason Martin had already dropped diss tracks challenging everything Joey claimed. And while their efforts were solid, Vaughn's Crash Out Heritage hit with such force that it feels like it could shut down any potential East versus West competition before it even gets started. Unless Joey comes back with a stronger diss track, or maybe even an entire project to reassert himself, he might be taking his first L of the year, and the craziest part, it's coming from a relatively unknown talent out west. The fact that Kendrick and the rest of the TDE heavyweights didn't think Joey was worth a direct response speaks volumes about how far apart they've grown over the years. Hip-hop has only gotten more competitive since Kendrick took over, and while Joey has been in the game for a minute, he's still trying to fully regain his stride after his hiatus. That's likely why Kendrick and TDE decided a rising star like Vaughn was the right match for Joey right now. Sure, it's kind of disrespectful, they're essentially using Joey Badass as a stepping stone to elevate a rookie, giving him a crash course in the competitive nature of hip-hop at the expense of a seasoned OG, but hey, crazier things have happened in this game, am I right? You've got to give it up for Vaughn though. The confidence and bravado he brought to Crash Out Heritage were nothing short of remarkable. For a newcomer going toe-to-toe with someone of Joey Badass's caliber, Ray made it look effortless. Every bar hit hard, sharp, and precise like a cannonball. His message was clear, bold, and exactly what you'd expect in a diss track. And the way he called out other East Coast names like OVO Mal, who's been vocal about his distaste for Kendrick, showed just how sharp Ray's wordplay and delivery truly are. What really stood out though was how Vaughn kept referencing Kendrick's euphoria, particularly the part where Kendrick talks about people not respecting the West Coast rap scene. The way Ray wove Kendrick's views into his lyrics didn't feel like a rookie move at all. He sounded polished, calculated, and ready for the spotlight. If this track is any indication, Vaughn might just be that guy. His lyrical performance here was top notch, and it's clear he's only getting started. But the real mic drop moment that made this track special is the part where Ray painted Kendrick's haters as enemies of progress who are holding hip-hop back for selfish reasons. That was sneaky and absolutely brilliant at the same time. The way he managed to portray Joey Badass as just another delusional East Coast artist jealous of Kendrick's success, just like OVO Mal, is absolutely hilarious. It was a clever way of flipping the narrative, portraying the East Coast as a barren land for solid rappers in recent years. And let's be real, Ray isn't entirely wrong. The East Coast hasn't made that much of an impact on hip-hop over the past decade. Joey claiming the East Coast is back and ready to challenge the West's dominance feels more like wishful thinking than reality. It's going to take more than one talented rapper to reignite a rivalry that seems completely dormant. The fact that at least 3 West Coast rappers have already fired back at Joey's diss shows just how unified the region has become under Kendrick's leadership. Over the past year, K-Dot has transformed careers and elevated TDE back to the top of the game in the most unprecedented way. His pop-out concert alone is a moment that will forever remain legendary, something we probably won't see replicated anytime soon. So what exactly does the East Coast want to do that will freak the West right now? Well, at this point, no one can touch the West Coast when it comes to the sheer number of incredibly talented MCs and hip-hop artists. They've consistently delivered some of the best projects in the game in the past few years, a claim the East Coast can't confidently make or even dare to. Kendrick didn't even have to lift a finger himself. All it took was sending a rookie to challenge a veteran like Joey Badass, and even then, the kid held his ground. If that doesn't show Joey just how wide the gap is between the East and West right now, I don't think anything else will. Look at the most notable artists from the East Coast in recent years, from the likes of Ice Spice, Fivio Foreign, and Lil TJ to name a few. One thing all these artists have in common is how they're all struggling to regain momentum after hitting roadblocks in their careers. Ice Spice, for example, barely sold 4,000 units in the first week of her album release, a massive fall from grace. And let's not even get started on Fivio and Lil TJ, 2 artists whose music has taken a noticeable dip in quality over the past couple years. While the East Coast has been grappling with stagnation, the West has been quietly building, strategizing, and evolving into an undeniable force in the culture. It's almost laughable that the best the East Coast has to offer right now includes names like Fivio and Ice Spice. There's no doubt there are more talented rappers in New York's underground scene, but the talent scouting seems to be falling short. Right now, Joey Badass is the only recognized top-tier rapper still fighting to keep the region alive. Everyone else seems either too distracted, too comfortable, or simply too wealthy to be bothered. If something doesn't change soon, the East Coast risks fading even further from hip-hop spotlight. This lack of competition is probably why Kendrick and the other top-tier West Coast rappers weren't even fazed by Joey's diss. They know he's fighting solo, and engaging with him would have been a waste of time. Maybe Joey's energy would be better spent calling out the mediocrity and complacency among his own peers in the East. While his intentions are admirable, the approach feels somewhat miscalculated to say the least. If you're going to come for a region that's thriving and at the top of its game, you'd better make sure your own house is in order first. The East Coast needs to clean up its act if it ever wants to reclaim its place in the culture. Joey should focus on leading the charge before taking another shot at the king or risk coming up short once again. We've got to acknowledge the fact that Joey Badass has been on hiatus for quite some time. Trying to jump back into the game by sparking a rivalry with someone like Kendrick might not have been the smartest move. There's no denying that Joey has had a successful career as a rapper, but to challenge someone who's currently at the peak of their game, well, you need to earn that spot first. People often forget there was a time when Joey was mentioned in the same breath as Kendrick and J. Cole in discussions about lyrical mastery. But while Kendrick and Cole stayed laser focused on their music, Joey chose to explore his talents beyond hip-hop. And while he found success in those ventures, it's naturally caused him to lose pace with his peers. That's why coming for them now seems out of sync. Those days when they were on equal footing are long gone. It's a new dawn now, and he needs to recognize that. Looking at Kendrick's history with Joey, it's clear they've always maintained a level of mutual respect. This is probably why Kendrick didn't take Joey's recent shots too personally, unlike the way he reacted to that Drake and J. Cole feature. Instead, Kendrick's response was subtle but calculated. He let Vaughn, a TDE newcomer, handle the reply. It was his way of saying, "I heard you, but you're not worth my energy right now." If Joey really wants Kendrick's attention, he'll need to come back with something far more impactful, a track that fires on all cylinders. But if he's still waiting for Kendrick to directly engage, he's going to be waiting forever. The only replies he's going to get are the ones he's already received from TDE's Rising Underground stars. Joey's got to realize by now that the ruler's back didn't pack enough punch to bring the heavy hitters to the table. He's lost this round, plain and simple. Now it's up to him to get back in the booth and come out swinging harder, or maybe rethink his entire strategy moving forward. The fact that Kendrick and TDE sent someone like Vaughn to address him speaks volumes. It's a loud and clear message, and it should be motivation for Joey to step up and do something significant enough to grab the industry's attention. So what do you think about this whole Kendrick versus Joey situation? Do you agree that Vaughn had the best reply to Joey out of the 3 West Coast rappers? Let us know in the comment section below. If you made it this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for all the latest updates and insights from the world of hip hop. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.